Blake Lively's legal team has now put forth a stunning objection, claiming that they do not want Brian Fredman to be the one conducting her deposition. However, in the world of litigation, personal preference does not grant someone the authority to dictate who gets to question them. This particular case is taking an astonishing turn that continues to fuel the existing narrative surrounding Lively, that of an entitled Hollywood elite who believes she is above the rules that govern everyone else. The legal maneuvering from Lively's attorneys only serves to reinforce a widely held perception that she is accustomed to getting her way at any cost, steamrolling over legal conventions if they don't suit her personal agenda. The latest development, which came in the form of a formal complaint, is nothing short of perplexing. For those who may not have been following along, let's break it down. Last night, a letter was submitted to the court, addressed directly to Judge Lyman. The document, written on behalf of Wayfair's legal counsel, including attorneys James Heath, Sarah Steve Surratt, Justin Baldoni, Melissa Nathan, and others, outlined a dispute regarding Lively's deposition. The letter was submitted in preparation for the upcoming legal conference scheduled for February 3rd. During a meeting between both parties' legal teams on January 30th, Wayfair's attorneys requested that Blake Lively's deposition be scheduled at the earliest possible date. However, representatives for Lively, including those for her husband Ryan Reynolds, immediately voiced their opposition, not to the deposition itself, but to the specific attorney who would be conducting it. Lively's counsel objected to Brian J. Fredman personally leading the deposition, citing undisclosed statements made by him. When pressed for clarification on the exact reasoning behind their objections, Lively's team refused to provide any further explanation. The only clear stance they took was that Blake Lively did not want Fredman to be the one questioning her. This objection raises a fundamental legal question. Since when does a deponent have the power to select which opposing counsel will take their deposition? The rules of litigation are clear. Individuals involved in lawsuits do not get to dictate which attorneys from the opposing side may or may not question them. The law does not grant this level of control to any party involved in a legal dispute. Yet, Lively's team is attempting to carve out an exception, seemingly operating under the assumption that she deserves special treatment. In response, Wayfair's legal team has formally requested that the court address this issue during the internal conference on February 3rd. They have made it clear that they believe Lively's legal team is attempting to manipulate standard legal proceedings, setting a dangerous precedent that could have broader implications if left unchallenged. The absurdity of this situation cannot be overstated. As my colleague Kim so aptly put it during our discussion last night, this isn't deal or no deal. You don't get to pick the suitcase, Blake. The idea that Lively can simply choose which lawyer she deems acceptable to question her is nothing short of delusional. One has to wonder if this tactic will extend beyond depositions. Will she attempt to dictate the demeanor of opposing counsel in the courtroom? Will she request that the judge adjust their tone, or even change their attire to better suit her preferences? The entitlement on display here is staggering. Speculation is now swirling regarding the true motivation behind this objection. Could it be a calculated strategy by her legal team to delay the deposition and, by extension, the entire case? If so, it appears to have backfired spectacularly, as Wayfair's legal team wasted no time in calling them out. In doing so, they have only reinforced the public perception that Lively is out of touch, out of line, and out of her depth when it comes to the legal process. What happens next? All eyes will be on the February 3rd conference, where this issue will undoubtedly be dissected and addressed. One thing is certain, this legal battle is far from over, and the world will be watching as the courtroom drama unfolds. The sheer audacity and sense of entitlement required to assume that one can dictate who is allowed to conduct a legal deposition is staggering. The notion that someone can simply decide, I refuse to be questioned by this person, without legitimate legal grounds is both baffling and indicative of a profound misunderstanding of legal proceedings. If there were a history of personal conflicts or a genuine conflict of interest, then perhaps the attorney in question would be removed from the case altogether. There would be established legal grounds for dismissal. However, rejecting an opposing counsel simply because they have made statements that one finds unfavorable or unpleasant. That is not how the legal system functions. Both parties in this case have engaged in public disputes, trading accusations, and sharp comments. Each side has made its allegations, while the other works tirelessly to discredit them. That is the nature of litigation. It is precisely the job of the opposing legal team to challenge claims, undermine credibility, and present their client's case in the most compelling way possible. Yet, the demand to exclude an attorney solely on the basis of perceived hostility or negative commentary is without precedent. It raises the question, by what right does Blake believe she can rewrite the rules of courtroom procedure to suit her personal comfort? Legal analysts and industry insiders alike have been left in a state of disbelief at the unfolding events. This is not how litigation is conducted. Depositions do not function on a preferential basis where individuals can handpick their interrogators. This is an essential aspect of due process, and to suggest otherwise is to display a fundamental lack of understanding of the judicial system. As this legal battle continues to unfold, it is remarkable to observe Blake Lively's unwavering belief that she can exert control over every facet of the proceedings. Time and time again, she has demonstrated a determination to dictate the terms of engagement, seemingly convinced that she is the architect of this entire situation. However, in doing so, she has only succeeded in making one misstep after another, each more damaging to her public image than the last. What is most striking is the widespread industry reaction, or rather, the lack thereof. Hollywood remains conspicuously silent. There is an undeniable sense of hesitation among those in the business, a reluctance to publicly take a stance on the matter. Privately, many within her inner circle may be offering support, reinforcing her sense of control and affirming the path she has chosen. However, beyond those closed doors, the prevailing sentiment appears to be one of incredulity. Why was this course of action taken? Why create an unnecessary legal controversy that only serves to further erode credibility? There is an air of quiet disdain surrounding the situation. Those who might otherwise comment have chosen to stay silent, likely rolling their eyes at the spectacle that is unfolding. The reality is that Hollywood is watching Blake and Ryan, watching the choices they are making, and likely questioning what in the world they think they are doing. Meanwhile, amid the legal drama, an entirely separate storyline has emerged, one that few could have anticipated. Enter Justin Baldoni, a filmmaker whose name is now unexpectedly intertwined with this unfolding saga. In what seems like an almost surreal turn of events, Baldoni had been in the process of securing the rights to direct a Pac-Man movie, a project that, at one point, was reportedly on the verge of being finalized. However, in the wake of recent controversies, the status of the project has now been cast into doubt. According to industry sources, while the movie has not been officially cancelled, it is now in jeopardy. A text exchange from August 18th reportedly reveals that Baldoni had been preparing to publicly announce his involvement in the project. He had hopes that the film could serve as a much-needed career revival, a means of proving his creative viability in an industry that has been less than forgiving. But now, with his professional standing under scrutiny, the fate of the project is uncertain. The stakes are undeniably high. The legal battle at hand has already had widespread repercussions, altering the trajectory of multiple careers in its wake. And as the dust settles, one cannot help but wonder what the next chapter of this extraordinary legal saga will bring. An ambitious vision for the future, an opportunity he had nurtured since 2022, now stands on the precipice of collapse. The much-anticipated Pac-Man project, which had been in active development, may no longer see the light of day, caught in the whirlwind of controversy surrounding his legal entanglements with Lively. This is just one of 3 high-profile projects that have been thrown into uncertainty, sources confirm, as he faces professional setbacks of staggering proportions. Reports suggest that amid these legal complications, he has already suffered the loss of 3 significant industry roles, resulting in financial damages totaling hundreds of millions of dollars. The domino effect of this dispute is impossible to ignore. With the lawsuit triggering a cascade of consequences, talent agency WME severed ties, a move that sent shockwaves through Hollywood's financial ecosystem. Wayfair, which had strategically relied on WME to package and finance their productions, including both in-house projects and third-party films, suddenly found itself navigating a crisis. With its well-oiled machine grinding to a halt, it is unsurprising that the company has opted for an aggressive legal strategy. The stakes could not be higher, and they are fully aware that losing this battle could mean the absolute obliteration of their position in the industry. However, the defense they are mounting is not merely reactionary. It is driven by a conviction that Lively is withholding crucial truths. The evidence being presented by their legal team paints a different picture, one that challenges the narrative being spun by the opposition. As is often said, the full extent of the fallout remains uncertain, and while some projects may have been placed on indefinite hold, that alone offers a glimmer of hope. The industry is watching, waiting, trying to assess where the chips will ultimately fall before committing to any decisive stance. Hollywood is a fickle arena. It is an industry that can exile an individual with brutal efficiency, only to welcome them back with open arms the moment their financial worth is reinstated. When the dust settles, if there is money to be made, bridges will be mended, alliances rekindled. That is the nature of the business, a place where loyalty is often dictated by relevance and economic potential. And then there is Wayfair, a company backed by formidable financial resources, deep pockets that have now become an asset in the ongoing legal battle. With a billionaire investor stepping in to support Justin's defense, the power dynamic has shifted dramatically. Many in similar circumstances would have been crushed under the sheer weight of the legal fees alone, a reality that perhaps Blake and Ryan had not anticipated. If their strategy was to steamroll over Justin without resistance, they may have severely underestimated the financial and legal firepower now being wielded against them. The complexities of this case continue to unravel, and with every new development, the stakes grow higher. The industry stands divided, some watching with detached curiosity, others with palpable concern. As if the legal battle itself was not contentious enough, Lively's latest maneuver has only added fuel to the fire. Her refusal to be deposed by a specific attorney, citing personal discomfort rather than legal grounds, has sent shockwaves through legal circles. That is simply not how litigation works. Depositions are not subject to personal preference, and attempting to dictate the terms of cross-examination in such a manner only further solidifies the perception of entitlement. The potential for this deposition to be a high-stakes, dramatic confrontation is undeniable. If such proceedings were televised, they would undoubtedly command massive viewership. The very thought of watching Brian Freeman go head-to-head with Blake Lively, or Ryan Reynolds for that matter, promises a level of courtroom intensity that is rarely seen outside of scripted legal dramas. The tension, the strategic maneuvering, the verbal duels, it would be an unmissable spectacle. This legal saga is far from reaching its conclusion. As more revelations surface, as strategies unfold, the landscape will continue to shift. Updates will keep pouring in, and every twist in this case will be scrutinized in meticulous detail. For those following the developments, stay engaged. Hit that subscribe button, enable notifications, and brace yourselves for what is shaping up to be one of Hollywood's most dramatic legal battles in recent memory.